It is about 16 now past 9 o'clock, and our temperature reading is 19 degrees. But look at the sky. It turned blue. How about that? Miracles still happen, Pat Cahill.
Blue skies.
Isn't
Life
that
is
great?
good, right?
That's absolutely good.
Life is good.
Exactly. And it's good at Buffalo Ridge Defense, right?
It is awesome at Buffalo Ridge Defense. We're so thankful for having a great, just a great year. This year
Good.
we've had over 1,000 students that we've trained.
Wow. Holy
We've had
cow.
classes in Osceola, Amory, Eau Claire, Rice Lake.
Eau Claire?
Yeah, we teach in
Wow.
Eau Claire at the Westgate Sportsman's Club, and up in the Superior at Barker's Island.
My.
And
You get around.
yeah, I do get around. I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but yes, I get around.
Oh, it's a good thing.
It's a good thing. Yeah, we I'm nationally certified to enhance and certify instructors, so I can technically teach in any state in the U.S. and
Wow.
have taught in other states also. So
Wow.
and certify instructors. So
Well, there's no end to where you will go.
well, there's not. I mean, typically instructors that want to learn from across the U.S. and from many different states have come here to Amory, and then we hold the classes here
Sure.
to become instructors. Those are 3-day classes.
That's a nice thing to have them come to town.
It is nice to have them come to town. They
Not
typically
only
get
that,
hotels.
they might like it here and stay here.
Well, maybe.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, maybe. That might be what they want to do, yes.
You never know.
You never know.
So, did I hear you tell Larry that you're teaching here pretty quick?
Yeah, this weekend I'll be teaching on Saturday at the Westgate Sportsman's Club in Eau Claire,
Okay.
concealed carry class. And then on Sunday, we're at Barker's Island in Superior.
Wow.
And that's teaching both Minnesota, Wisconsin concealed carry courses.
Okay.
The next Saturday, the 14th, the following Saturday, we're teaching locally here at the Osceola Rod and Gun Club. And then, we actually, and those are all concealed carry classes.
Okay.
Matter of fact, let's do a Thanksgiving thing. I'm going to do this. I didn't ask permission, so I'll ask for forgiveness. But the first two people that text me at 715-491-6952, I'll say it again, 715-491-6952. The first two people that text me say, I want to go to a class, will get a free class for next Saturday, the 14th. So,
Wow. And it's right here in town.
It's at the
Well, it's
Osceola. So just out of
close
town.
enough to
Just out of
town.
town. By Menards. It's south of Menards.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, you know what? They can send that text message and they get to come for free. That's a $125 class, by the way. So
I know. So, what's the number again?
715-491-6952. All you have to do is send me a text message and say, I want to go to a class. First two people win.
All right.
So, and the other thing we have coming up, and we really want Buffalo Ridge to be more than, I'm retired. I'm retired from my corporate life. The community's been very good to me, right? So, yeah, sure, I'm retired. That's what everyone says. But and a lot of Buffalo Ridge is meant to be giving back to the community, and a lot of to help people become, more capable stakeholders in their own personal defense and their family's defense, and know what to do. And it's not about using it. I mean, we do teach firearms use, and I've carried a firearm for 50 years, and I'm taking an advanced class. I take once a week for 5 weeks down in the Twin Cities. But we really want to say, what can you do to prevent? What can you do to avoid the situation? What can you do to de-escalate? What can you do to, simple things like refuse to be offended, things like that, right? If you refuse to be offended, you can't get in a fight with anyone.
That's
right?
true, yeah.
That's the bottom line. But, we're also all about helping people understand the law so they can do everything they can do to protect themselves and their family, should they need to.
Sure.
But do it legally. Stay out of jail.
Exactly.
It's one thing to defend your family, but then if you spend the next 20 years in jail because you did something wrong while you were doing that, then your family has been just as hurt, right?
Yeah, exactly. Probably more so.
Probably more so. And so to that end, on December 19th, in St. Croix Falls, we have a free course at the American Legion Post in St. Croix Falls from 6 at night till 8 at night, 2-hour course on should I shoot. It's on the use of force and, when should you shoot? Should I shoot? It's the name of the course, actually. And that's free to anyone. You don't have to sign up. You just need to show up, right?
Wow.
And
that's in St. Croix Falls.
At St. Croix Falls.
Right.
And then that's on Thursday the 19th. Friday the 20th, we have a women's safety course. And that's in Rice Lake at the Rice Lake Veterans Center.
Wow.
So, and that's free to the public also, that they can come sign. They don't have to sign up. They can sign up. There's sign-ups, but they can just come in. There's no charge. It's a 2-hour course, and it's all about women's safety, what they can do, what things they
Yeah,
can do.
yeah.
Because they have, women have different vulnerability needs than men do.
Sure.
Now, doesn't mean there's some women that are rougher and tougher than I am. There's no doubt about it, right?
I know.
But we have different capabilities, right? And different risks, because some people are going to be trying to hurt men differently than they try to hurt women.
Sure.
So that's the bottom line there. And then the last thing we're doing, and most people overlook this, and this is a Christian organization, but most people overlook this. We offer free consulting services to churches. If they want to set up if they're looking about setting up a security team or a safety team at their church, or they just want to enhance their church safety, they can call me, and we'll actually come and do a 2-hour presentation right to their council, to their group, to whoever they want us to do it to. I prefer 10 or more people, just because I want a group of people, not just one person at that church. And tell them all the simple things they can do. I'm not going to set up their security team. I'm not going to run a security team for them. I'm just going to give them some ideas on what to consider should they want to set a team up, or can they enhance their security. And it's not about the biggest challenge with setting up church security when we're doing it with churches is everyone thinks, that happens somewhere else. And we're not going to have some jihadi terrorists come into our church in Amory, Wisconsin and wreck the church and hurt people. And I'll say that's probably true. Statistically, that's probably true.
Sure.
They will not have a jihadi terrorist come in. But there's a lot of things that the security and safety team in churches have to consider. The person that becomes violent across the country in many of the churches are already associated with the church in some way. They're going through a contentious divorce. It's a custody battle. They have an addiction problem. They have some beef that they were taken out. That they were offended by something, right? And it's typically someone they know or is affiliated with it. The safety team also has to be able to deal with, what do you do if someone has a heart attack in the church? What do you do if there's a medical emergency? That's all being part of the security team, is how do you deal with that? Was involved with, at our church, I go to the Osceola Community Church, but at a men's prayer breakfast, the speaker fell over with a heart attack right in front of the church.
Wow.
And we started CPR on him, and we have an AED at the church, and we utilize the AED. Now, it's one thing having it; you should have people trained on how to use it.
How to use it, yeah.
But and they're very simple to use. Buffalo Ridge trains people on how to do that too. But we used the AED on Brian. It delivered one shock within 3 minutes of it going down, and it's all recorded on this church. He came back to. He started breathing, started going. Then he came back to. He looked up. The first thing he saw was me, so he realized he wasn't in heaven, right? Because I was the one doing CPR on him. We were prepared, right?
Yeah.
We weren't lucky. God used a whole bunch of imperfect people to do His perfect will, and all the things that were set up, all the circumstances, from the guy that set up the prayer breakfast to me making a decision to go to the prayer breakfast that day, and anyone else involved with it. It was a whole bunch of events that came together for that moment in time. And to the people that donated the AED to the church, right? That it was there. And then lastly, to the choice that Brian made to come to the prayer breakfast that morning, right? Because he could have had the heart attack at home.
Yeah, that's true.
And
there may have been nobody there.
And there'd have been no one there. Yeah. So, all of those things, all of those circumstances happen. Life happens.
It does.
And, are you ready to deal with it? And that's what we talk about when we talk to churches with building up their security teams and how to make their church safer and how to protect their flock.
Pat, do churches generally have a safety plan, do you think?
Well, fail to plan to fail. Right?
Oh, I know.
So generally, most churches have a really loose, I don't know.
They have an idea
every
they
church
want
I
to.
go to has had some type of a group of guys that say they're the sheepdogs that are watching the sheep, right?
Sure.
But, and then some of the churches will go, well, we got a bunch of concealed carry holders in our church, right?
Yeah.
Well, that would be like saying we have a bunch of licensed vehicle drivers in our church and we're going to turn them loose on the NASCAR track, right?
Exactly.
There's more it's so more encompassing than just having people there with guns. Gun is the last resort. When all else fails, when no other options are available, that's when you're in when you're in immediate fear of great bodily harm or death, and you think, if I don't take this shot, am I going to die or is someone else going to? Then you're going to use a firearm. Up until that point, there's so many options. And it's all about creating that response to whatever that critical incident is, whether it's medical, whether it's whatever it happens to be, whether it's medical, whether it's someone just getting upset. What are you going to do if there's protesters coming to church? Who has
Which could happen. You never know.
Which could happen. I mean, you could be a church is making a stand, against abortion or whatever you're making the stand against. There's someone that wants to come in there that's pro-choice and wants to walk around this church with signs in their hands with sticks and signs. Well, sticks are weapons, but if they're walking around with sticks and signs, who in your church actually has the authority to ask them to leave?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They're not trespassing if someone without authority doesn't ask them to leave.
Yep.
So it can't just
and
be...
if they do, then they're trespassing.
Then they're trespassing. Then they can call the sheriff's office and have them removed because it's private property. But a parishioner that says, you get up and get out of my church, well, they can go, take a flying leap because he doesn't have any authority to tell them to leave,
exactly.
right? I mean, that's...
Somebody needs to be that
That would be like me
person.
telling them to... Luann, leave the radio station. Well, I don't have any authority to tell her that, right?
Right. So what about schools?
Well, school security is unique. And schools,
thought
the
so.
local police departments do a great job of working with the schools. Schools have plans and put it together.
Yeah.
And when it comes to responses like schools and things where there's mass casualty events, sure, I talk about it a little bit, but the biggest thing there in schools, every school has a plan. I think they don't have a plan would be naive in this world. They have a plan. But that plan is so encompassing with their local law enforcement. That's who they use because they're the ones that have to respond to that incident, right? Okay. They're there. They know they have a plan and protocol set up. And their risk is much higher because they're there many more days of the week than we are at the church. I wish we were there more days of the week at the churches, but we're not, right?
No.
So, there's a bigger population. There's bigger society is melted together even more there. And there can be contentious plans. And there's people that want to do bad things.
There are. And there's always going to be.
Right. And that's why you need to be prepared. Yeah. Right. And
so that's what Buffalo Ridge Defense is all about.
It's helping the average person become greater stakeholders in their own personal defense. When it comes time to defend themselves or their loved ones, or their friends, what can they do? How can they do it? And how can they do it efficiently? That's what we're all about.
All right. Give that phone number one more time because I'm out of time.
715-491-6952. 715-491-6952. Or you can go to buffaloridgedefense.com and you can find my phone numbers on there.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you, Bob.
Pat Cahill, Buffalo Ridge Defense, this morning on the Coffee Klatch.